So at this point, that's a good basic map. Um, but maybe I want to add an additional layer or two on here for later analysis. So let's go to layers again. I'll click Add Layer. Now let's go to the Living Atlas. Living Atlas and ArcGIS Online both bring you to menus where you can find both very well vetted uh, data layers and some data layers sent in by other users as well, which may not be as accurate as you need them to be. But using the Living Atlas, these are all pretty well vetted. So let's scroll down. The terrain would show you the altitude of each point in a pixel on the map, but that's not too useful in our study or our applications right now. Let's scroll down. I see NAIP imagery, which is very, very fine scale aerial imagery that may be useful if you need to identify unique land features around your study sites. Let's see, maybe I want to analyze my water quality samples by watershed. Let's search for watershed. Okay, here we have watershed boundaries by federal user community. That's usually a pretty good sign. Let's click on that, see what it is. So this is a U.S. Geological Survey map of all the watersheds that have been delineated. That is probably a very, very good and accurate data set. Let's add this to the map. Okay. So we can't really see anything right now, but that's because some layers don't show up at a very fine scale. So let's zoom out. And if we zoom out, we can see all of these watersheds have been delineated in purple. If we zoom in, we can see that they get finer and finer as that delineation becomes more specific. So if we go near our study site, we can see if we get the distance correct. And it's a little bit hard to tell, but I do promise you here that multiple samples are in different watersheds. And our two high samples are isolated in their own little watershed from the other samples. So maybe we can focus our research efforts or our cleanup efforts on one specific watershed. But now we have two layers on this map. You can also change the order in which the layers appear. Sometimes a layer will cover the entirety of a map. This watershed boundary is only showing the borders of the watersheds, but sometimes, like a land cover layer, will cover the entire map. So that might cover up these data points so you can't see them anymore. All you would do then is take the optical brightener tutorial data and move it to the top of the watershed or the land cover data set, and it would then replace it as the first layer that you're showing. I don't really like the name optical brightener tutorial for each of these data points, so let's rename this. Click the dot 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 menu, rename, and we'll name this optical brightener sample results. We still have this chart here, and we can see that the chart name was updated based on that update I just made. And to me, that seems like a pretty good map that we can now add to a story map, and also do other analysis on later on if we'd like. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Let's go to the Save and Open menu, click Save As, and I'll name this. Let's name it Optical Brightener Tutorial Map. I'll tag this tutorial. I'll save it as a test for the summary. And I'll save it in my own folder. Now that's all you need to do. Now the map is saved, and I can import this using ArcGIS Story Maps or other ArcGIS applications. So in the next tutorial, I'll show you how to create a story map and import this map and other data into that story map.